Game two, everybody, here at the Chili Mountain Super Cup tournament presented by Chili Mountain. I'm Paul, joined by Rebel Fox once again. K-Ted on the production here. And we've got ourselves University of Minnesota at match point here against Glaive Maroon here. And Rebel Fox, we saw in the last game, Glaive Maroon sort of have all the right pieces together, but ultimately never put that puzzle together. Is this comp something that gives you confidence that they can do it here?
I think it depends on what we see from Without a Brain, because in game number one, we saw the Olaf, which was more aggressive, or at least the first time we saw them. We saw the Olaf, which was more aggressive, a little bit more tailored towards playing early, playing more ganking style, which kind of more attuned with Hecarim. But I didn't actually think that the farming jungler was all that bad. He found a couple of bad fights, bad situations, but certainly the Karthus did seem poor. And now this is pretty much all of the aggression, where you have to take advantage of these advantageous lanes with the Shen being able to play into the Ornn, with the Ashe and the Karma being able to dominate that bot lane matchup, and even the Azir being able to try to put some damage into the Orianna early to make sure that you don't get to that game fight. So to me, again, Without a Brain will have a massive role in this early game and whether or not the success is there for Glaive.
Something to keep our eyes on for sure. We see both junglers going to be starting on the top side of the map, so maybe they end up meeting up in the bot side of the lane here in a couple minutes. This time around, we can keep note of Chikasa going to be on the Ornn, so might not necessarily have as much of a problem as we saw last game into that awkward Renekton and Aurelia matchup, but we'll have something to keep our eyes on. We did see Chikasa on the Ornn first time we saw them on the stream, I believe, as well here. And Gablito already getting chunked out a bit by the Sand Soldier.
That's the advantage of taking the Comet on Azir, where there's a couple of keystones, like you can take Conqueror, which isn't very popular, you can take Hail of Blades, again, Electric Q, all not very popular. Actually, look at that ridiculous amount of damage traded on top side. That's the strength of the Shen right there. Percentage health damage can really do a number on somebody.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I spoke too soon. I might have given him the old caster curse there, saying maybe he wouldn't have that bad of an exchange. But level 2 already. Yeah, he quickly hitting half health, and then Censored Mercy taking him back down with the wave pushing in. We'll see. So now we see both junglers moving on to their buffs respectively on the bot side of the map.
No.
Finding in the lane, Heartbreak. It's about finding the kill, first blood onto the Morgana. Yuki Bunny now going to go through the wave and no longer be in trouble, but a really nice kill set up there.
It's just a chain CC nightmare coming out. Waits for the whole trap to come through, gets Little Chimp in position to catch that Q, and the only real option there from Zenzi was to try to flash, maybe thinking he could survive a little bit longer. That headshot just doing a little too much damage. Feels really bad to get trap chained by the likes of the Caitlyn Morgana. And that's the strength of the lane. That's the reason why you pick this so often, because they are ridiculously synergistic with one another.
Able to land that kill, it gave them priority to pick up Scuttle, and so so now we're gonna see the jungler move through the mid towards the top side of the map here. Chikasa gonna continue just playing on the back foot a little bit, and keeping away from Censored Mercy at least for now here. And now we're seeing maybe Without a Brain was gonna go check out that top Scuttle, but it's already gone, and Fed gonna pick up the double there.
You can. Both Scuttles now going to the way of Fed 9001, which is a good start for the Skarner, being able to control quite a bit of the map. That is a little shocking given the fact that, of course, the Azir should have more than enough push pressure out of the mid lane, but not able to. Got that quick back off, didn't have to teleport, must have found it sometime during then. I guess could have played to the bot pressure as well, since that kill did go over to the side of Heartbreak and Little Chimp. Just a little confused because I wasn't really paying attention to the Skarner's pathing, able to get 2 away from the likes of Brain. And now actually also forcing a reset up towards the top side.
Taunt gonna land, but so's the stun from Fed. Fed has to flash away Without the Brain going in. The proc off the Brito, double teleport coming in though, and Gablito on the board. Censored Mercy's his next target. FYS here. Fed able to land him up. Sand Soldier's gonna bail him out for now. Here comes a wave though. Gonna chunk down Gablito, maybe bit off more than he could shoot. Eats a tower shot. Not gonna step up any further. 2 early kills. And University of Minnesota get some confidence moving around the map.
That they do. Again, showing what they've done in the last few games early on and just getting the outnumber as fast as possible. Bot lane a little bit more trading.
Oh, once again, the same combos working out. Zen C now playing bodyguard here for Yuki Bunny. Finding lands, heartbreaking to look for the trap, the chain CC, and they don't have an answer for it yet, Rebel Fox.
You got to get the lane priority here on the bottom side because, again, the reason why Ash Karma works so well is because they can shove the lane because they have more than enough wave pressure. And when you have the lane pressure, the Morgana binding almost acts like a hook. If you've got a lot of minions there, it's really hard to hit. And so if you get tagged up with a hook, you pretty much just get absolutely chunked out and almost die, as you've seen with Zenzi a couple of times. And if you don't, then there's no problem there. There it is once again.
Root combo and the headshot taking them down. There goes Bunny. Now Gablito in the mid lane against the Shen. So we see a lane swap here and we'll see if they end up keeping it without a brain though. Coming in, here comes Fed. Exhausted immediately. Zensi stepping up for the 2-on-2. Little Chimp gonna be ignited away here. No, we get their first kill of the game as we see Chicasso trying to stop it back.
Yeah, finally able to find something. Zensi able to find the ignite onto the likes of the Morgana, gets the exhaust and the flash out of that champion, and so unfortunately Morgana's going to be in a rough position. This mid lane duo swap actually was kind of it was initiated here by FYS when he rotated up to try to help out that top lane push that had come through from Chicasso, Fed 97, and the TP from Gablito. There was a massively stacked wave there, and so basically FYS just wanted to shove back out, get an opportunity to reset for mid wave with all of the farm that was there, and it does actually give him about a 2-wave advantage over Gablito here, which is a pretty big deal. It did give the Shen a little bit of a deficit compared to the Orms. It's absolutely worth it to get your Azir spiked a little further.
First dragon of the game going to be a Mountain Drake, so giving a little bit more resistance here to the likes of Minnesota, and that's going to be sitting really nice on Orin too, who to this point has been trading, decently, but maybe not as favorably as he would have wanted. This is certainly going to help out that battle a bit. Emperor's Divide, though, and Gablito on the run. Here comes without a brain. We see who ultimately just gets the kill, and we'll go on to the Hecarim there, but really well-timed ultimate and very well played.
And it was really well played from mid lane. Now, Strassery back against Censored Mercy. Orn ultimate's out. He might win this!
Airborne under the tower. He's going to eat the tower shot, though, but the kill will go on the Censored Mercy here. And despite the resistance, just not quite enough. And that flash under the tower, I don't know if he needed to do it on the charge. You think he would have made it?
Okay, so listen. That was 8 Chillier IQ. I don't even have a number to describe what just happened. Rather than giving the kill over to Without a Brain and spiking the Hecarim, he flashed under tower to give the kill over to Shen, which doesn't sound very good, but at minimum, this Hecarim, who has a lot of damage, doesn't get anything, and that is a huge ult whip. Now here comes the Shen. Oh, no.
Oh, TP to answer back. Ace in the hole is up, but there's just too much going on there. Didn't look for it before the Stand United came in here. And so the answer back won't ultimately turn into anything. Zensi hanging out. Shen is gone. Doesn't have another tool to get back there. Root on root. Fed though, top side, stunning up without a brain. Doesn't have a way out. Gablito can't make the rotation fast enough. And Hecarim starting to come online.
He is. Really, really well played there. The Hecarim has quite a bit more damage, especially when you talk about Sheen auto-attack trading between the two of them. All you've got right now is the Bombi Cinder for damage on the side of Feb 9107. So even when you're on that Spire, you're not going to be able to take most of the trading just because there's so much additional when that Sheen comes through. Once a little bit of armor comes out, I actually do think that's actually Skarner favored in terms of the 1v1, especially when Cinder Hulk's completed on 2, 2.5, 3 items. But until that point, that Sheen is just too strong to worry about. So if you are the Skarner, focus more so on making sure that that Impale comes out onto the primary targets you needed to, and shutting down some of the lanes that have been doing well.
Chicasso trying to chunk down Censored Mercy there, force him back under his tower. Does have a decent CS lead there. FYS going to pick up the blue buff here and return the lane here. Gablito did pick up their blue buff as well. And so now, as everything stands, gold roughly even now, but bot side looking to press their advantage that they've had. Binding lands. Heartbreak just going to have to queue. Crystallized Arrow going to land here. Exhaust is used. Can they turn it here? Hecarim and Fed both coming down. Zensi low enough to be an ace in the whole range, but they can't find it. Fed hanging by. Doesn't have to use a defensive ultimate yet. And so after all of that, ultimately nothing going to come from it. Oh, Completo with the flash of the century there. Shockwave going to land. Try to keep FYS here in kill rate, but here come the Sand Soldiers, and here comes the horse without a brain coming in and finding the kill. That is too easy for Hecarim.
Really impressive back and forth between the mid lane there, but that does give Hecarim yet another kill, and he's kind of the one you're trying to spike ahead. There have been a couple of really good responses from the side of University of Minnesota, but outside of that, it's really just been complete control of the map here by Without a Brain. He grabs that, thankfully, because Chikasa was trying to put him down. Really impressive stuff, though, from the two mid laners. Gablito's flash combined with that soldier positioning from FYS. That would have been a lost fight for FYS if it weren't for that last soldier to come out. So really, really good stuff. Knowing where to position that instead of aggressively to position that very defensively, ended up stalling enough time for his jungler to arrive.
Heartbreak got his backstop here, so Zensi and Yuki Bunny just going to enjoy a free kill and a forced back there for Heartbreak. As you see FYS returning to the mid lane, picking up the item now. Goblito will have to back off, and at least so it looks like because of the pressure there from Chikasa, they will get the Rift Herald.
Gablito's been around the map at a couple of different skirmishes, combined with that massive wave picked up top lane. FYS is currently up about 20 minions over his opposition and about 2 levels of experience, which is ridiculous when you're considering what a solo lane can do. There needs to be a little bit more bailing out of what's happening in the mid lane here. I do want to see Fed get out on the map just a little bit more. This is reminiscent of what happened last game with the Jarvan, where he was just kind of silent for the first few minutes. And right now, it seems like Glaive Maroon is actually getting back on the map, getting back in the game. They've taken a gold advantage, and this Azir is kind of just waltzing into the game alongside this Hecarim, as both of them have the most gold of anybody else on the map right now.
Sitting, despite all of that, it's somehow still only a 300k gold lead. The bot side pressure may be paying off enough for them at that early trading. We see Heartbreak pushing in. Now they're up on third, but here comes Without a Brain. Suppression gonna keep Without a Brain at least at bay for a bit. Staying united, coming down though. Gablito had made the roam, but is it enough? Heartbreak gonna be stuck in the alcove without any help, and that'll be another kill. And Glaive Maroon putting them up in bunches right now.
They are. Another really good, this time it's super proactive. This is what I wanted to see from a Shen pick for a while during the course of this tournament. Using it as using the Hecarim as a delivery system for that Shen means you've got 2 additional members on the bottom side of the map to take full advantage of. And that gives them their first dragon in the game. So this gold advantage starting to swing back to the side of Glaive Maroon because of a little bit of passiveness, or at least not punishing as hard as necessary maybe. And definitely because of their champion strengths and the ability to finish that Trinity Force this early on, Hecarim puts into a great place where he could potentially look to continue affecting the map like this. Really, really good stuff from Glaive Maroon, capturing that dragon, getting the gold lead back on the map, and kind of reclaiming complete control of what's happening.
And so now they're at least able to force things to a 1k gold league. We're seeing Without a Brain really starting to come online. Has that 400 gold bounty, but is 4-1 in 2, and I believe getting close to the training force. Does have some money in the bank to back with. It should be able to get that online here in just a little bit. Meanwhile, Chikaso does the first full item completed, that Sunfire Cape, and so Top Win Island still alive and well here, but the rest of the team's starting to fall behind, though they will pick up first brick thanks to a ton of pressure here in the early game from Heartbreak.
Yeah, that Rift Herald did not go to waste here on the bottom side of the map. Got a little bit of gold for their ADC. They're supporting their jungler. And then, of course, first tower of the game right as plates finished. So it would have been an extra 160 in their pocket. But still, nice job from Heartbreak. This kind of the intention behind this composition. If you get the Caitlyn rolling, if you get Gablito rolling to some extent, then you're going to be able to take fights pretty commonly because they do have the DPS advantage out of this crit Caitlyn as opposed to just the on-hit Ashe with the likes of the Blade of the Rune King, things of that sort. The fear, though, again, the comparison should be made between the Caitlyn and the Azir actually doing quite well for himself. FYS doing pretty phenomenal things. We'll soon have the Nasher Scoot combined with Sork Shoes, which will be a pretty big buff to his all-throughout DPS.
Without a Brain, just going to have to watch his blue buff taken away. didn't want to challenge that. Would have might have caught himself out in a bad way here. Chikaso taunted, but nothing coming of it here. Teleport coming. Or excuse me, that was a back there from without a brain, not a TP in. So he'll go back. Fed will farm up. And both teams are just going to be content to do some resets here as we cross 15.5 minutes and Censored try to stop the back.
I actually think he shorted his dash, trying to like call a false bluff, because I don't think he knows. Chikaso did the exact same thing a few games ago when we watched them in the semifinals. He played Ornn into Shen specifically. The Shen bullied him a little bit early, as to be expected, with percentage health damage on the Q. But outside of that, Chikaso just took care of the matchup in the one-on-one. Actually ended up outscaling and becoming a nuisance, getting solo kills against the Shen in that side lane. And you saw that right there, where Chikaso had more than enough mana and health to take the 1v1. I think Censored was just shorting that dash to try to make sure he was bluffing and force that back to stop. But unfortunately, I think Chikaso knows that he'd win that 1v1.
Oh, Heartbreak stepping up Crystallized Arrow without a brain, and then just take him down in short order here. Little Chip gonna try to get out, rooted under tower, and this might make quick work here for the rest of the team. Shockwave though gonna land, not gonna bail him out, but maybe gonna try to step Chikaso for something here. For the charge, here comes Call of the Forge God, maybe putting enough damage to take down somebody. They're oh so low, but they just don't have the damage to match. Gablito can't do anything without a brain finding a kill here. Fed has to flash away, and that's gonna have to end up being a 3-for-1, but Yuki Bunny executed as well.
How did he execute the tower? They've been fighting them for 5 minutes straight right there. I don't know what the hell that was, but okay, I guess we'll continue. The train of thought here is like Heartbreak got picked, and for some reason, I guess Wisconsin, or my apologies, Minnesota was just like, we don't need damage. Just started fighting anyway, which was kind of surprisingly, they had quite a bit go their way. If it weren't for the fact that Gablito got stuck to by the Hecarim, who got blue smited, I believe, they actually would have had a chance to continue fighting there, because there were some low health bars across the board, but nothing really on the map to grab due to that. So just a bunch of resources on both sides burnt for almost absolutely nothing. The big thing though is Chikaso's TP was burnt there, as well as Gablito's. Sensory Mercy and FYS both had theirs. They could easily play side lane in 1-3-1 right now, shove them out, and then work their way towards either the Rift Herald or the Dragon that's spawning soon.
Heartbreak now able to finish the combo that they've been running so often. Gablito now might be caught alone in the pit. Shockwave, but not gonna find anything else off that. Gablito Emperor's Divide comes out, and Gablito just gone, not where he wanted to be, and they are gonna make a move to mid lane and ultimately here to take the Dragon, I think.
Jiminy, man, that was so well played there. They saw him on a ward that had only just expired, and it's funny because the second that Gablito saw that ward, he was like, uh-oh, and immediately turns around, tries to get away from without a brain. Actually did a good job timing that ultimate to get away from him, but unfortunately, FYS able to get over the wall with that Ash ult also connecting. It was impossible. So Gablito gets deleted. Now they're trying to respond onto Censored Mercy, which probably will end up going their way, but the Dragon does go to the side of Glaive.
Yeah, Ace in the hole gonna help finish that one off, and the kill will go onto Little Chimp, but at least able to answer back in some way. 4-on-4 posturing here around the Rift Herald pit, and Fed is actually gonna get this one started here as they have some priority in the mid lane with Heartbreak hanging by.
They do. A little bit of trading back and forth. Still just a 1 tower to 0 towers, which there's very little damage done. But right now, Azir, with his strength level over top of the Orianna's, having completed 1.5 items to just the 1 Seraphs, which has not been fully stacked yet. All too easy. There's Gablito getting pushed into without a brain for the 4th time this game.
He is gone again. Just no answer here for Gablito. Just not the same presence here in FYS. Just commanding the map here. Top side though, Fed gonna answer back with the Rift Herald and answer back with a turret of their own. Maybe try to put some damage on the next one. As Chikaso gonna force them away.
I said it to start with, I think the most important part about this game here for the side of Glaive is making sure that FYS is going to have what he needs to carry in the later stages, and so far, that has been the entire game plan for Brian. Now, this is a wet noodle fight, and I can't wait to see the end, but I do think Shen just wins this because of percent of health damage. Oh, no. How far? He hit that from mid lane.
As they messing up the rules of the one-on-one there. Fed gonna try to get out, but taunted up, and no escape there. Censored Mercy getting the kill, and to this point here, Rebel Fox. So now it's almost in just about a 2K gold lead here. For the longest time, it was only a couple hundred. And so for me, I've been looking at this. I'm like, should I believe this crazy kill margin that Glaive Maroon have everything going, or should I believe in the gold discrepancy that, hey, maybe Minnesota, even just 2K down, only one dragon down, isn't actually down all that much?
It's kind of tough to say, just because of the fact that gold means a fair amount, and that it's very real stats that you can track across the board. But if you look at items, you think like, okay, well, Without a Brain is currently sitting like, what, 600 gold, 700 gold to get ahead of the Skarner. But the Skarner's full tank. Skarner is going to be able to have, I think eventually the Black Cleaver looks like it will be completed for him, but for the most part, they're pretty much tied in items despite the very clear gold discrepancy. It's more so about how they're controlling the map. Right now, the Hecarim able to run things for the most part. The Skarner never really is going to be able to accomplish that same kind of thing. Could try now with the Righteous Glory, but hasn't really been the style of that. He's much more the kind of style of fighter that does not. That's actually, he's dragging Shen maybe to his death here.
Yeah, Shen coming in, Zen C able to get out with the help from the St. United, the 5-on-2. Just, I'm not going to commit to that. But maybe there's some of that engagement that you were talking about there where Fed is able to step up for something now. Here comes Onslaught of Shadows. He's rooted under the tower, though, and that's going to help them out. Without a Brain, not able to finish the play. Sand Soldiers coming out with the zoning. And both teams are just going to have to hang tight for a second here. FYS setting up all the Sand Soldiers in the bush. Nothing coming of this yet, though.
The big ultimates in the Shockwave and then the Impale burnt here on the side of Minnesota, and so they have nothing really left to fight with. The Ornn ultimate also down after trying to make a pick happen in the mid lane as well. And so because of all of those facts, they can't really take the engagement because, honestly, that was really terrible from Glaive. I think the only reason they took that fight was off the back of the fact that cooldowns had already been burnt here on the side of Minnesota. And if it weren't for that fact, they would not have been able to take that fight whatsoever. They would have just been absolutely throttled, and the game might have shifted very heavily in the favor of Minnesota, due to the fact that their cooldowns would have been up and they would have been able to punish much harder than what they did. Now, that did claim them kind of priority here in the shallow parts of the jungle towards this this kind of pixel brush here. And if they're able to keep this control for the next 50 seconds, 45 seconds, whatever it might be, the Dragon's going to be able to spawn here. And then they're going to be able to look for their second Infernal Drake of the game to very heavily assist this Azir in his DPS output.
So now let's sit with that 2K gold lead. Next Dragon's going to be up here in about 30 seconds. Will be the second Inferno of the game and would put Glaive Maroon at Soul Point. So we'll see if University of Minnesota is able to answer back in the big way. We start to see the team setting up here. Glaive in the bush. Fed just going to walk in. You know, ults canceling out here. Zencilo without a Brain. Chicasso moving in. That's a double. Censored Mercy now going to be caught out. Completo just going to hang tight here. Yuki Bunny stepping up. Fed being taken down. There's no target selection. And the 4-on-3 turning away from them here. They have nothing to go into FYS. They're looking for a re-engage, but I'm not sure what they had behind it. That's a triple kill here for FYS.
Once the damage was down here from the side of Minnesota, there was no fight left. And now, actually, again, you can turn immediately for the Dragon and just grab that one away. You've got your support and you've got your top laner, but that's all you've got. And you've got no smite to try to confirm anything. And so all the DPS from Yuki Bunny and from FYS are big. TP is trying to come in and punish Yuki, but he's not watching. Oh, no.
Chicasso in. Yuki Bunny in the mid lane. Low chip hasn't landed ACC yet. The Bro gonna land here. Censored Mercy already back here on the Stand United trying to help out. Helping Chicasso maybe to try to get a double here, but here's FYS once again. Does have that upgraded Infernal mess to help out with that MR, but at least able to get something back there. But those re-engages here at this point, they just don't have an answer for FYS.
No, they do not. He's way too strong on the likes of this Azir, and he's stacking a lot of AP. Isn't actually attacking all that much attack speed, which will hurt a little bit of the pure DPS that comes out. But with a Void Staff at this point, he's basically doing true damage to a ton of different people across this team, at least to some extent. So not the most gold efficient item at this point, but certainly with the advanced gold that he has compared to everybody else, he's going to be doing some ridiculous amounts of damage to this backline, especially. And you saw in that last fight how hard it is for the side of Minnesota to get onto him. let alone just try to kill him through all the damage that he's got. Either way, though, Heartbreak is sitting on 2 items, including 2 kind of AV crit items in the Storm Razor and the Infinity Edge. The Ornn items will be coming in very soon, and so there will be a little bit of reprieve. And given the fact they're only down 1,000 gold despite being down 2 Infernal Dragons, this game seems pretty close. I mean, we'll take quite a bit of finagling here on the side of Minnesota to find a good fight, but I sense that might be coming here in the coming minutes if they start getting some of the Ornn items and a little bit more gold on the back of this Caitlyn with.
And they're going to have to do that in the heels of a game so far that has been going everything but good, more or less, for Glaive. Already 1-6-3, and just time again, FYS has landed that Emperor's Divide, found the kill, and he's really just been caught out. Not really allowed to play the video game right now, but if he's able to come online, to your point, only that 2K difference, if he's able to put something together. Oh no! Oh, you played it for him, play it for me, Sam. Oh, just gone. Right on cue, as we mentioned. Emperor's Divide into a Hecarim combo, and Glaive just not having a good day at the office.
And this is a really fast Baron with a combination of Ashe with Lady the Rune King and this Azir to do so much DPS. This is almost guaranteed. They have to wall up the entrance, but it should be relatively simple. Oh
my God! Fed just walked in. He just walked up to it.
How? Every time there's a neutral objective, Glaive, press your smite key. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, without a brain, he didn't touch it.
Yeah, I actually think he actually just reloaded it. He had used it at some point, but he might have mistimed it the second time. I know Glaive stole 2 last game off the back of that, off the back of smites that were pressed by Brain too. Like, that Baron buff actually will make a massive deal. Yes, they got a shutdown onto Glaive. They were able to get a kill onto the Skarner, but this Baron buff is a massive deal to hold out for the next remaining few minutes, and it will let them set up their waves in 2 minutes for this next Infernal Drake. It's going to have to be a hard force coming out from the side of Glaive to be able to accomplish anything here.
Yeah, an unfortunate misstep here for Glaive Maroon, but maybe an avenue to victory coming in finally from Minnesota. And like you said, I mean, Fed just walks up and takes what he wants, gets that steal here. And even if they only end up using it to turtle, it's just one less thing, one less tool at the disposal here for Maroon to put this one away or try to siege down some of these towers here.
Yeah, you're getting to the point now also. The Azir has built no defense at all, only just built the first null magic mantle in the inventory. Has no armor. And at this point, what is it, level 16, something along those lines? You're talking like 60 base armor or something on most champions. And so this Azir is going to take a ton of damage from this Caitlyn, who now has the upgraded Infinity Edge combined with the attack speed of Azir. It's a little terrifying. If Caitlyn can get to the Azir and find any sort of trap or any sort of CC, there could be a legitimate threat around this next dragon. What they have to do, though, is that they need these champions in these lanes. They got to shove out mid, they got to shove out bot, make sure that they have the Glaive priority to walk into the river. And right now, they're not doing that. They don't feel comfortable stepping up with Hecarim there, which is the one real benefit of Brain in this one, where he, without a Brain, has just been picking anybody that has dared to step up in a lane so quickly that nobody's actually able to do it, even with this Baron buff.
And so the posturing begins here. Dragon up in 20 seconds. This is Infernal Soul here for Glaive Maroon. So University of Minnesota has to answer back in some form of way. Just not something you can freely give away, especially when FYS is already as built up as he is. We see Censored Mercy able to push on the opposite side of the map, has TP available, and stand united. The rest of the team here already hanging tight by the pit. Yuki, buddy, cover the bot side. Suppression at FYS. He's gone without a brain now. In trouble here. We're seeing stunned up and taken out is Heartbreak. Do they have enough damage without him? Glaive hanging by. Does already use the shockwave. Shen coming in. But behind them, I don't think they know it, but it doesn't matter. Able to decimate them. That's a triple kill here for Fed. Maybe they try for a cheeky steal of their own. I don't think they even know that Censored Mercy has been here this whole time. And they're able to get the dragon. They win those 50-50s. Glaive, Fed, and Little Chimp trying to hold it down themselves. 3-on-1. Mid tower already gone here. And Rebel Fox, they're bringing it back.
They are. It was a huge flash into the middle of the team to just snag FYS with that impale, which was humongous. Although I was terrified for a minute because FYS I was able to get the Emperor's Divide off and push Heartbreak into the Ash ult, which actually ended up killing Heartbreak at the end with Brain being there. But there's just too many members on the side of Minnesota there to be able to fight against. It wasn't actually that big of a gold sling. They got a mid tower and then they got that Infernal Drake to hold on, hold off specifically the Infernal Soul from coming through. But still, they now hold a 1,000 gold lead over their opposition. And you got to wait and play around that Skarner flash more because, man, FYS, if he doesn't have QSS, he's very dead to rights around that. He did buy one, however.
Ooh, Shockwave gonna land. Nothing coming off that though. The rest of the team just wasn't quite ready to step up into it. And the other thing, I guess, I believe you've mentioned it in part, but like just to wholly make the point here, you've got Orin. You're just upgrading items like crazy. I mean, Skarner's got Trinity Fusion. You've got double upgrades on Orin himself, and just these upgrades coming through, giving him so much added power here in this late game. If they're able to start scaling up some of these Infernos, and heck, even if they're able to get this Inferno Soul on the side of Minnesota, they're just going to have so much going for them.
Actually, Trinity Fusion is one of the worst. It's actually the second worst Ornn item you can get, and the fact that he built it on Skarner specifically for the Ornn update now makes me want Minnesota to lose. Minnesota, you have now lost my favor in this game. No matter how hard you try to come back, you won't win. Trinity Fusion's a bad item on Skarner. Bad item.
Ooh. We'll see what they're able to put together here. Call of the Forge God coming in without a brain trying to get out here, but here comes the closeout for the rest of the team. They haven't found a kill yet. Now they're going to be split off. They don't have the damage together. That's going to be 2, and here comes the rest of the push. FYS and Yuki Bunny just too much for the team. That's a triple kill, and they're just going to go down and try to run down mid here as then C and Fed just kind of have a little skirmish off the side, but they're going to be able to just push this thing ahead.
They will. The ultimate W, trying to get him a little bit of health, but it's not going to mean anything because Skarner now has to complete a back and has to play into a 4v1 with both primary damage dealers and the frontline tanks coming in from the side of the Glaive. Again, I'm not going to say it was because of the Trinity Fusion. I'm just saying he happened to buy a Trinity Fusion and they did lose. They are poorly.
Yeah, I was going to say there's certainly something there, but a great top to bottom game there behind another awesome mid laner here, and Glaive Maroon able to take game number 2 and take this to a game number 3.
And Minnesota, I think, was able to keep the game close because they got shutdowns every then and again. They kept their CS relatively high, and they were able to take neutral objectives off the board. They weren't just like letting towers stay up for all too long because they had the Caitlyn, they had a couple of members who were able to do that kind of thing. The problem was their fight ended up being super contingent on can they actually get an engagement onto FYS. That last Dragon fight where they won, you're thinking, oh, Fed was able to get onto him. Maybe they have a chance. Okay, but he had to burn Flash, he had to burn Righteous Glory, and FYS did not have QSS completed. At the end of the game, no Flash, no Righteous Glory, QSS completed, no chance. FYF was able to clean that fight up at the end, even without the remainder of the fight, where they, both their damage dealers got kind of just pressed between everybody in those fights. And it was just very, very dominant from the side of Glaive at the end.
It's just ultimately a dominant performance. And as we take a look at some of the stats here, Rebel, I mean, just such a dominant performance throughout, and FYS just putting in work, and it's kind of sneaky here. Yuki Bunny just doing a ton of damage on the bot side, able to pull together the lead despite we saw some of those early combos coming out from Heartbreak, but doubles them in damage and ultimately just helps pull this one away.
Yeah, Yuki Bunny was a really good tank shredder in that game, where you've got the Infinity Edge, the Rune Hands, and the Blade of the Rune King. That means if Chikaso and if Fed are standing in front of you, and even like Gableto, who had, or Gablito, who has like health behind a lot of the items, you're going to be using a lot of that on hit percent damage from the Blade of the Rune King very efficiently. So Yuki Bunny and FYS just pumped out the DPS as needed, and I thought without a brain, he absolutely commanded this jungle position for the second game in a row. So if I were Fed, you got to pick something that gets more aggressive early, because otherwise, without a brain, it's just going to keep controlling these lanes.
And so with that, we go to game number 3. We're going to step away for just a moment. The teams are already in the lobby and get ready to go, so we'll be back in a jiffy. We'll see you soon.